So today we're going to be looking at a scenario where BRICS goes to war with the world. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and be sure to subscribe because like I've said before, there's going to be something special happening for 25,000 subscribers. So if you want to see that happen sooner, then make sure to subscribe. Also, for my audience real quick, I just want to say there's not going to be a video this Saturday because it's going to be Christmas and I don't want to upload on Christmas. So here we have all of BRICS colored in red. So we have Russia, China, India, South Africa, and Brazil. All these countries are going to be going to war with the world. So let's go ahead and see what happens. So right away, we're going to have every country's army just ready to go because it's going to be more interesting that way. Every army is in their current country, so there's no like overseas armies or anything. So the USA won't be able to help out right away in Europe because its army is over here in America. At first, we're going to be seeing the red team push out a lot. And I mean a lot. And the reason I know that is because I already recorded this video, but OBS decided to stop recording, so I've got to go ahead and do it again. And this time I have even less time to do it, which is really annoying. So right away, we see the red team push into Mongolia and capitulate the country. Right after this, we have BRICS pushing into Kazakhstan and down into Central Asia. We see Russia invading Ukraine and Belarus, and China and India invading Southeast Asia. India eventually capitulates Sri Lanka, as well as Bangladesh, and eventually we have both Nepal and Bhutan falling. In South Africa, we see South Africa invade both Lesotho and Eswatini, and a broader push into Southern Africa is made. Now, if I'm going over this too fast, then like I've said, I've already recorded this video, but it'll be to stop recording, so that's why. And the previous recording took an hour, and I really don't want to spend another hour going over this video because I've already done it. So I hope you guys can understand that because I really don't have 2 hours. In South America, we have Brazil pushing up to Guyana, French Guiana, and Suriname. They push into southern Venezuela and into eastern Colombia. China and India both completely capitulate Southeast Asia, and a push into North Korea is started. The push into Central Asia is continued. This time, BRICS takes advantage of a, scrambled Afghanistan and takes over the entire country. We see Russia continue to push into Eastern Europe, and Brazil takes out both of the Guays. Now looking at power distribution here in BRICS, Russia, China, and India are obviously the most powerful countries. Asia is kind of under the thumb in this scenario because they're all over in Asia, and they're going to be able to easily work together and take out surrounding countries. Whereas Brazil and South Africa aren't so lucky. Brazil is going to fall first, and then South Africa. That's just because of their location. So once we see troops over here in South America getting organized, we just have the fall of Brazil. They're eventually pushed out of all occupied territories, and all American countries start their invasion of Brazil. Now, Brazil was already at a disadvantage being at war with South America because they border every single country in South America other than Ecuador and Chile. So when it comes to invading all countries in South America, they might be capable, but then again, this is also North America getting involved, so they're not capable. So after using pretty much every resource that they had to invade surrounding countries, we see all of South America pushing in. Argentina captures major cities on the coast, as well as North America capturing major cities on the northern coast. These two eventually meet up, and after fighting some guerrilla warfare, all of Brazil surrenders. In Southern Africa, we see continued progress made by South Africa, until they eventually meet the border of the DRC, where they meet a pretty good defensive. For now, South Africa is going to be on hold as the DRC blocks them from continuing. Over in the Caucasus, we see Russia pushing in and capturing all the countries, as well as Central Asia pushing down and cutting off Pakistan from the rest of Asia. From here, we see India and China both completely capitulate Pakistan and start a broader push into Iran. We see Russian troops and Chinese troops both successfully take over Tehran, and Iran eventually falls. From here, Iraq and Syria are pretty easily taken, and a small offensive into Turkey is made, although it is very unsuccessful as Turkey has a pretty good defense. Over in the Balkans, we have Russia just completely wiping out all of these countries, and once again, we have Turkey being cut off from the rest of their allies. Russia starts its invasion of Finland and takes out all of the Baltic countries. This right here might be the greatest extent of the red team just because South Africa is about to fall, and the red team is going to be making a little bit more progress, but probably not much. So once troops in Africa are ready, we have a joint operation between the Americas and Africa, and this operation is just taking back all lands from South Africa. Now, South Africa isn't necessarily a really strong country, so taking back all this land is pretty easy for the blue team. Eventually, South Africa is pushed back to a defense in which they are holding pretty well. Over in the Middle East, we see the red team make a little bit of progress in Saudi Arabia and Jordan, and we also see the capitulation of the Korean Peninsula. We see a little bit more progress made in Turkey, and down in South Africa, we have South Africa being pushed out of surrounding territories, and an invasion is made with the capitulation and the reorganization. So now we have BRICS losing both of their, least powerful nations, which I guess isn't too much of a big deal for BRICS, but it's still 2 less allies than they had. BRICS has a pretty good hold over all of Asia. I mean, basically, they do have all of Asia except for Saudi Arabia and the rest of the Arabian Peninsula, as well as Japan. But other than that, they have all of Asia. So BRICS has done a good job of that. We see a little bit more expansion on their part here with the invasion of Taiwan and the invasion of Indonesia and the rest of Malaysia. It is here though we see the stop of expansion on the red team, just because over here in Europe and Africa we have the fall of the red team's front. What I mean by that is the blue team is now pushing back, and they're pushing back pretty successfully. We have the push out of the red team from the Middle East, and troops from all over Europe pushing down into the Balkans, and troops from all over Europe pushing out into the Balkans. After liberating Albania, we have an encirclement made in Kosovo. We then see another encirclement over here in Romania and Bulgaria, and a supply line is set up between Turkey and Greece. With this, we also have another encirclement and the pushback of the front in Romania and Hungary. So with these small encirclements here, we have a lot of Russian troops. Now these troops were mostly just defending the areas, but there is still a really large number of equipment and troops in these encirclements. So after pushing in and seizing all equipment and manpower, we have a lot of Russian troops being lost to the blue team. And with this big gain on the blue team, we have a large push into Russia. All of their occupied lands over here in Eastern Europe are liberated, as well as Finland being Finland. Speaking of Finland being Finland, they take over the Kola Peninsula and push down into Russia. We then see a push into the Caucasus region and down over into Iran. After the capital is captured, we have the setup of the Iranian government, and a defense is being set up on the border. Now this defense is pretty well, so no one's going to be breaking through. But looking at a defense that is not so well, we see the blue team pushing into Russia on a very large scale. From here, we see a primarily German and Polish division start to push towards Moscow, while the rest of the blue team starts to push into central Russia. We see a small force push into Kazakhstan and around the Caspian Sea, but this really isn't a priority of the world since they're trying to focus on capitulating Russia. So after capturing Moscow, we have the retreat of Russian troops to Siberia. This gives way to the blue team for taking lots of Russian land all the way over to near China. Now I'm not saying that the blue team is going to win this, and I'm also not saying that the red team is going to win this. And once again, that's why I'm calling it a stalemate. We have 2.5 countries left here. We have India and China, as well as half of Russia. So they would most likely be able to hold off any defensive for now until eventually the blue team recuperates and gets a lot of manpower and resources and pushes into the territories. Looking into the future, we would most likely see the capitulation of Russia, but we would also probably see a meetup around the Caspian Sea. This is just for supplies. We'd also most likely see Oceania pushing up into Southeast Asia and creating a front right here. The blue team really wouldn't have any interest in pushing into Central Asia since there's like nothing here, and this would like only get them closer to China and India. But then again, like this is like a really mountainous region over here, so there'd be no point in doing that. And invading India over here would be really hard. So the blue team would most likely want to focus on a front down here in Southeast Asia. Or if the US invades from Alaska, we can also see a front started over here in Manchuria. So yeah, that is what would happen if BRICS went to war with the world. Now, I know this video was a mess and it's just not as neat as it originally was. And that's once again because OBS decided to stop recording for some reason. So I'm sorry about that. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Make sure to especially subscribe because like I said in the beginning, there's going to be something really special happening for 25,000 subscribers. And if you want that to happen sooner, then make sure to subscribe. Once again, there's going to be no video this Saturday just because it's Christmas. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.